Those of you who've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I have a ton of videos. You can't see that, it says published March 10th, 2015. And you can see these pictures from Tinder. It's my Sid Jackson channel, okay? You know, I've been taking these pictures for a while now. I want you to take note of properties, and we'll say today is 11/4/2015. This says created October 20th, blah, 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 modified the 15th. So, you know, this is within the last couple weeks or so. Okay, we'll call it the last, you know, around 2 weeks ago. Okay, the oldest one. And the newest one, I believe this is from yesterday or today. Yes, this is from today. Okay, so let's go through this, shall we? The first one, the oldest one, says 70s occult. Now I have, you know, stored away thousands, let me pause it. I have thousands of these pictures stored away. I could have done it by taking pictures for the phone, but I wanted to do it this way so you can truly appreciate how I'm not lying, that there are literally thousands of Satanists I've come across in my area on Tinder alone, occultists. Okay, everyone knows the 70s. Well, people look into it know the 70s had a lot of cults, and so did the 60s, had a lot of secret societies. It was big, especially in the San Francisco area. You know, the Church of Satan, the Temple of Set, San Francisco, and so on and so forth. So if we go on, and notice everything, you know, she's trying to do everything a certain way. You know, notice she's in a nice house. Notice how she's standing in a certain way, and she admits she's an occultist trying to do things a certain way. And her posture has to do with the occult. You'll hear a lot of people who just don't get it, who say, well, you know, the people, these conspiracy theorists, they're crazy, and so on and so forth. But if you really have done your research, you know that they're into this type of stuff. Now, I'm sure I don't have to explain how she is an occultist. Some of you I do, okay? This hue is the color she chose for her picture, you know, and so on and so forth. This is the moon goddess symbol, that's why she has it. It says whiskey in a teacup type of girl. Notice her friend, the symbol she's throwing. She could mean it as rock and roll. I might have thought that, but the fact that they're dressed in all black, and they all have black hair, except for this one's dyed red, reddish, which is the red and black, tends to be the colors of Satanism. And then we have another friend doing the same thing. And what do we see? We see black, okay? We see dyed hair, you know. Okay, these people are into that gypsy occult type shit. Okay, this one. At first glance, you might not see it. I would see it at first glance. Before I'd even see the symbols, I'd say she has this occultic kind of, you know, look to her. And then you look at here, you see the symbols, right? Remember, this is just in the last couple weeks alone. The ones that the pictures I bothered to take. Sometimes I'll skip over them or forget to take them and so on. Cannabis 666, and you've heard me in the past say that the cannabis movement is tied to the occult. And look at Ohio, where the only people who are allowed to grow houses are these people who invested millions into it. And they say, well, you know, Ohio's an expensive state to pass cannabis legislation, so it's a bunch of rich occultists, you know, who are doing the, you know, cannabis movements for the most part, who have the connections to, you know, set up shop in the first place and so on and so forth, you know, for the most part. There's organized crime involved as well. And you can just Google that. It's public knowledge. Okay, very occultist. See how she's a Satanist and she's into the occult. This one, you know, at first glance, you might not see what I'm getting at. You know, you see two slutty kind of females, and I don't mean them any offense per se. I'm trying to be as polite as I can. But you know how I feel about it. Anyway, so you see this pyramid shape, and those of you who've looked into secret societies, this is one of their symbols, a pyramid with little dark shades on the edges where the 60-degree angles are. 60, 60, 60, or 666. Okay, and a heart in the middle, and this kind of present thing, and then flowers. Okay, so you have sex magic, you have satanic sex. if you look into that, and you know what, oh, damn, I didn't want to do it that way. I didn't want to do that. I'm gonna have to do it that way. You know, I'm gonna put it in the side things, the evidence of homosexuality and the evidence of sex magic, of satanic sex, and Anton LaVey and so on. Okay, her, I want you to look at her face. Why isn't she smiling? You know, what kind of a person is she? She has obey, you know, on her shirt. Now, one could take this to mean that she's a conspiracy theorist. You know, there's another way you could take it. I'll leave it up to you to judge. Now, this person I chose for a very logical reason. Okay? This is a medical student, future psychiatrist, according to her. Californian at heart, world traveler. Remember, I told you a lot of these people talk about how they like to travel, and a lot of these people into the occult like to travel as well. And, you know, it tend to be people with money, people with connections who are able to travel, do a lot of traveling. Now, what is she looking for? Looking for someone intellectual and worldly. Okay? Remember, I told you that, you know, psychiatry has teamed up with Satanists, the worst criminals, the LGBT, the feminists, the atheists, and the racists. Okay, worldly is, Satanism is worldly. Another word for Satanism is materialism. The worst criminals logically are worldly. LGBT people logically are worldly. You can't be, you know, an LGBT person and be spiritual logically, unless you have some kind of fake pagan religion and it's not really spirituality. Feminists, again, are worldly. They're concerned with, femin and other radical feminists and other feminists attack Christianity and the patriarchy, and they attack religion in general. They're worldly. And again, they have fake spirituality, if anything. You know, the mother goddess, Wicca, and, you know, this kind of, you know, so that all these people are worldly, ultimately. Atheists, I don't think I have to explain how they're worldly, and racists are concerned with race, which is of this world. So basically, she cares about money. She cares about worldly things. She's materialistic, and she's a future psychiatrist. Okay, and then she says, with a big heart. So she wants someone who's a secular humanist without spelling it out. Now look at this. What do we see? Popular in the gender feminist movement is, I have tons of these pictures, and there's so many of them I didn't even bother taking them. The same thing with the women sitting on the chair cross-legged. There's so many I come across, I don't even bother taking them. But, you know, basically she's saying that she's a gender feminist, and this person is playing the role of a man, and, you know, that's her way of subtly saying she's a gender feminist. Okay, that goes, I'll end it there. Thank you.